Okay, it's late October here, and today is the day I'm going to take my moringa and transplant it inside. I'm not really sure if you'd call it transplanting, because what I'm planning on doing is basically digging it up from the ground here, and basically storing it bare root. Maybe there's a better way to do this, but I've never done it before. My plan is to store it bare root, which is the same way that they were stored in I guess last winter time. A friend was storing them inside and brought them out in the spring and we planted them and they grew. I might have to it might be good to wrap the roots in like some peat moss or sand or something. So we'll have to see what I have available. I've got perlite, but I'm not sure if that'll do the trick or not. I think you basically want to keep the roots from drying out too much, but as far as I can tell from what people tell me, moringa's really vigorous and hardy. So even if it dries out, honestly, like it's probably more of a problem of being too wet than being too dry. So what I've done is last month I did almost a 3/4 of the way around the root, maybe a foot away from the wood there, and you can see it's kind of loose. I basically like stuck a shovel in and just pried up, basically severed the roots, around here on 3/4 of the sides, with the idea that it kind of prepares the plant to be transplanted and spreads out the shock, so that when I sever the rest of the root today, it's not going to be quite as a shock to the plant. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'm going to take a look at the roots. Okay, here you can see the root system, which has been pruned, but it's still pretty extensive. I shortened the length of the trunk too because it'd be easier to store that way. There's the other end of it there, and we'll see if that one will root next spring. It's possible that it won't, but I've seen trunks like that sprout during when they're freshly cut and then stuck in the ground. I don't know if the dormancy over wintertime will affect that. Probably will. And then this is another tree that I dug up today. I didn't do the same process of root pruning last month, so we'll see how this one fares. It doesn't seem to have as vigorous of a root system. It's more compact, but it's thicker. So we'll store these, and I'll show you kind of how I'm storing them, and then we'll check back in the spring to see how they're doing. Okay, here's what I ended up doing. These are kind of like dry, aged wood chips. And we're going to see if this actually works to kind of hold over, protect the trees over wintertime. Some of you might be looking at this and maybe you know better than I if this will work or not. If you think this is a bad idea, definitely comment below and maybe I'll make a change here. Try to get them as dry as they could. This container has holes in the bottom to help with air circulation. So I'm kind of hoping it stays, dry, but not so dry that it dries out the roots too bad. So we'll see if this works. We'll check back in spring of next year, or maybe sometime over the winter, if I decide to check on these guys. All right, so stay tuned.